So today we are going to talk Joybuy. So we are going to do a monologue about Joybuy. We will only talk Joybuy today. So Amazon must be a little bit scared. A little bit. And who is JD.com? Some of you will know, but for the ones that do not know, JD.com is one of the biggest e-commerce platforms in China.
As a European customers, we would never have imagined before Amazon launched in Europe. We thought this was something that only Amazon could achieve, but now we have another extremely reliable player that is on its way to compete with Amazon.
But what is the main point that makes it particularly attractive? That they are the Amazon of China.
Of course, Amazon is clearly the leader in Europe, but there's many other players that I think they should fear Joybuy even more than Amazon.
If it goes through, that's massive disruption for the e-commerce landscape and for the all retail landscape in Europe. How are you?
Pablo. How's it going? I'm great, thanks. What about you?
You survived your big festival organization, right?
Yeah.
Was it good?
It was great. Extremely hot this year. The weather was amazing. We had a record amount of people, so super happy.
How many, Luca?
14,000, almost 15,000.
Wow. Yeah. For everyone that wants to know more, I mean, this is called Transumare, right?
That's correct.
This is being run in Roseto degli Abruzzo. Have I said it right?
Roseto degli Abruzzi, on Italian.
Degli Abruzzi.
A small town on the beach, which is my hometown, and I highly recommend everyone.
And this is rock, alternative
indie music, electronic,
techno,
jazz, funk. There's lots of contamination, and there's a lot of activities besides music, sports and art and culture and food. So a well-rounded cultural festival.
Good. Yes, you need to do cultural stuff for your region. I mean, that's to be proud of. So congrats, Luca.
Thanks.
And now back to e-commerce.
Yeah.
So today we are going to talk Joybuy. So we are going to do a monologue about Joybuy. We will only talk Joybuy today. And Luca, I have prepared some pieces of information here, and then we'll be opening for a debate. Okay, what is going to happen with this big coming? It's probably, I was telling before that to our peers here, like this is probably the biggest coming after TikTok Shop to Europe, and that probably represents the biggest Amazon contender that we will be seeing in Europe. So there's big hope with them. There is big hope for vendors to find an alternative to Amazon. There is big hope for sellers to find a real big marketplace where they can develop their products and brands. So, and
it's a big hope for everybody. Besides Amazon, I would say.
Exactly. Amazon must be a little bit scared. A little bit.
Yeah.
Let's see. That's what we hear. Our intel is telling us like they are paying attention to this launch. Okay, so Joybuy. What is Joybuy? So Joybuy is JD.com own European operations or European marketplace. And who is JD.com? Some of you will know, but for the ones that do not know, JD.com is one of the biggest e-commerce platforms in China. So as you can see in the graph, end of 2025 GMV, they are the fifth biggest platform globally. You see that out of the first four are Chinese, and there is only Amazon in the number 3, and this is GMV. Okay, GMV. Okay, so JD.com is super big. It's one of the biggest in China. But what is the main point that makes it particularly attractive? That they are the Amazon of China. Let's call it like that. So they are basically 1P. They love to have curated brands. So they are not the typical like Temu and Shein that they sell cheap Chinese products in the Western countries. They are different. So they like brands. They protect brands like Amazon. They have a massive logistical infrastructure. But before jumping into that, because these are part of the conversation today, first of all, you need to know JD.com is behind. Okay? So, second of all, they are already here. It's not that they are coming, they are here. So they are in 6 countries. Okay? They are in Germany, the UK, France, the Netherlands, Belgium, and Luxembourg. So they arrive beginning of 2026, and they already are handling more or less 100,000 SKUs. Okay? They have a big logistical operation. And that's one of the most interesting things. The other day, last we were talking TikTok Shop and the problems on there fulfilled by TikTok operations. I mean, they struggle with that. These people, JD.com, did massive investments. They have 60 warehouses. They have a delivery promise of same day, what they call the double 11. So you order before 11 a.m. and then they deliver before 11 p.m. at your house. And they can already do that in Europe for 40 million shoppers. So this is their current footprint.
That's a lot.
It's already massive, impressive. Okay. It is not the first time they try to come to Europe. And that's probably one of the reasons why they have that logistical footprints. They tried before. 2021, 2022, they brought this brand called Ochama. Ochama was a concept that I was exposed. I was in Procter & Gamble. I was in contact with Ochama. We tried to participate with them, but it was a different category of stores, of retail. And it was kind of like a showroom, like a very nice showroom with electronics and with kind of like devices, etc., and then a pickup point in the same place. So people go to the store to pick up their orders, okay, and then they have the showroom to see new products, and then they get offers, etc. And it worked like a subscription.
It was fully robotic, right? So it was like no human interaction. That was the piece of
the warehousing on the stores. It was fully robotic. It was quite impressive, and all with windows, so people could see the robotics. So it was pretty impactful, risky. I thought when they presented that to me, like, okay, I'm not sure if that's what the market needs. However, it's super cool. Now, they built that up in the Netherlands, and in summer 2025 they closed operations. Okay, so that's their first attempt. It didn't work, but probably it gave them a lot of learnings and a lot of logistical footprint already in Europe. And the last big nugget, and that's what a lot of people is waiting for, is they did a big bid to buy the owner of Media Saturn Group, that is called Ceconomy. Okay, and if that gets through, and that's not yet there, they could basically swallow more than 1,000 stores of Media Saturn, and those are electronic stores. They could swallow far bigger logistical operations. They could swallow 50,000 employees. So definitely, if that happens, they will become an established player in Europe. So that's a big milestone. So let's see what happens. If that does not happen, that doesn't mean that it will go away, because they already have a very nice footprint, but that's under scrutiny now from the European Union, and we will talk a little bit more about this later. Okay, so that's just the summary. So there is big on the table, eh? Good. We like this kind of shows. Okay, we will go through several questions, Luca, and I want your participation, and we'll debate a little bit. Okay, So the first question our viewers may be asking is, how do they work? I mean, what is it working with them? I mean, because most of our viewers are vendors that sell in e-commerce, or sellers that sell in e-commerce, or other platforms, e-commerce platforms that want information about competitors. No, so how do Joybuy work? Basically, as I said before, Joybuy is like the Chinese Amazon. Okay, so they basically and currently they only work 1P, first party. So they buy from brands and they sell in their store. Okay, They have their own inventory. They set their own pricing. They have around 100,000 SKUs already, and they own their own logistics. This is how they work. So definitely, it looks like a contender. What do you think, Luca?
Yeah, I mean, you said it right. And the Amazon of China is bringing a copycat of the Amazon model in Europe with proprietary logistics, not only the network, as you said, so they already own a huge fulfillment center in Germany. They leased a new one in Belgium, not active yet, but it will be very soon. They have thousands of pickup points already, but also they own softwares, like proprietary logistics softwares that will enable them to stick with their promise, the 11/11 promise that you mentioned earlier. How do they operate in Europe? today they have only the 1P arm active, but they already mentioned there will be opportunity for sellers to access the platform, even though they said this will be a curated marketplace. So I think this word curated is extremely relevant, because this means they will do a door selection, as in the VIP clubs. And this makes it even more distant from the offer that, competitive Chinese marketplaces like Shein but also, also TikTok Shop will have. I mean, it's a much less democratic marketplace, I would say. Right now is invitation only. So even for vendors, our intel tells us that only big brands have been contacted and are actively selling on the platform. The fact that they own the stock makes them able to stick with their promises. So I think the same day delivery, it was something that we, as a European customers, we would never have imagined before Amazon launched in Europe. We thought this was something that only Amazon could achieve, but now we have another extremely reliable player that is on its way to compete with Amazon. So I think that's the most interesting promise for consumers. While for vendors and brands, I mean, they have the same capabilities as Amazon. We will comment in a while, I believe, also their pricing structure and how they want to offer these features to customers. So I would trust them a lot, at least in what is happening behind the scenes. Then the last words is always to the shoppers, and they just landed to Europe. So I believe the next Q4, so the Black Friday, Christmas season, that would be the first interesting test for this new player in Europe.
Yes, definitely. And just to add, for sellers that are waiting for this to happen, so the company announced that second half of 2026, they would start this curated marketplace. So third-party sellers will be invited through invitation only. So we are already in contact with them. So we will try to understand better the system to get access, and we will tell that to you. Okay. But this will be curated, as you say. What does it mean? It is not expected to have thousands of Chinese cheap brands overloading the page, as we have seen before in AliExpress, in Shein, in Temu. So what we expect is what we see today. If we see now the homepage, we see big brands there. We see Nestlé, we see L'Oreal, we see Procter & Gamble, we see very big brands playing there. Okay, so this is how they are these days. Okay, so second point is, what is their genuine competitive advantage, Luca? Okay, so here, one thing that I was impressed, so when I started to investigate that, so we are feeling the hype. I mean, we are in the industry, we are in the ecosystem. Our former P&G colleagues, Samsung colleagues, we're starting to talk as like, these people is bringing something interesting, Joybuy, have a look. We're having a look, and we're learning that they are coming. But one of the things that impressed me the most when I started to study in detail their model is their Double 11 promise. And they are also known in China for that. So I have Chinese friends that the other day they told me, no, in China they have this Double 11 promise, like is you order before 11 a.m. and then we deliver you joy. You have your joy before 11 p.m. right?
Before 11
Which
p.m.
is great. And that is, you require massive capabilities to do that. And only Amazon, and now they have a contender. So that's one big competitive advantage that I would say. Is it a competitive advantage versus Amazon? I'm pretty sure when they arrive fully into the whole European countries, Amazon will be increasing their delivery promise, same-day delivery. So it will be parity, in my view. Now, this is a massive competitive advantage versus Temu, versus Shein, versus AliExpress, versus any other e-commerce platform out there that do not have the footprint.
Yeah, also versus versus brick and click. So, I mean, of course, Amazon is clearly the leader in Europe, but there's many other players that I think they should fear Joybuy even more than Amazon, because not having a competitive advantage versus Amazon, but reaching parity versus Amazon is already, is a massive step ahead for a newcomer. So I guess the space for any other retailer, especially the niche retailers that are focused on one or a few categories only, is going to shrink now that Joybuy comes with massive investments behind.
Yeah, indeed. But it doesn't stay there. So listen, current prices of their premium membership program, as Amazon has Amazon Prime, and Amazon Prime, the monthly fee in the UK, just to compare, is £8.99. Joy Plus is how they call their Prime membership, is £3.99. And the free delivery, it happens in Joybuy when you buy at least £29, while in Amazon it starts at, I believe, 35 or 40.
Yeah. 35.
So they're already kind of like dumping these thresholds. Okay, so that's interesting. And same delivery promise. As we said, versus Temu and Shein, that are now the heavy kickers in the European market, particularly in certain categories, but they are expanding massively. Same for AliExpress, but Temu and Shein are the most known. They have been heavily punished by the European Union with this taxation of every good. It was three euros per good.
Yep.
Yeah, per unit that is arriving into Europe through e-commerce from abroad. So they were massively hurted because of that. And now they have another Chinese contender that is actually having a more qualitative offer than them. Okay, so and probably also,
I believe will not be impacted by this, because as we said, it's just working with big multinational corporations or with local leaders, and so
Joybuy won't be impacted.
It's buying in Europe.
They are selling more expensive products. They have their products here. They own their products in Europe, so they will not be getting that tariffs. So that's and then the other thing is, and I believe that could be a misunderstanding here. They haven't said that Chinese brands are not going to be in their platform. But what we should expect is quality Chinese brand to be in their platform.
Yeah.
So we are going to see technological brands, Chinese technological brands that we already love in Europe, arriving into their platform and being one of their main vendors, right? So, but we shouldn't expect like super cheapy, kind of like bazaar, like Temu style.
Yeah.
They do have a massive footprint also in last mile. It's not only the warehouses, it's not only the heavy logistics and the tracking. It is also last mile. So they already own thousands of vans. Okay, so they own the last mile. That's how they can make it. They are also, with all these ecological objectives, they have a lot of electric vehicles, as Amazon does.
Electric bikes. They have a fleet that is something in between Amazon and the last milers that we've been seeing in Europe recently. I think in the massive wave we experienced of last milers, very few of the players survived, because for many of them the model was unsustainable in Europe. So I'm very curious to see how Joybuy will act here, because it has both the characteristics. It has the potential of Amazon on one side, but the fleet and the delivery model of most of the main last milers.
On that point, Luca, I mean, they need to make it profitable, because all these quick commerce last milers, they left the market because they were not profitable. They received these venture capital injections, and then when the money was gone, they were not able to make a profit. So Joybuy, I believe the big hope that will make it stand for years is the big investor it has behind, right? So if it got established, then they have a chance to make this profitable, right? Yeah. And through MediaMarkt, that is already a good business, established business, profitable business, they could be having their right, like, big block on their P&L at European level for this full model to be sustainable. And also imagine these 1,000 stores of Media Saturn, electro stores, to be kind of like small distribution centers. Yeah. I mean, this can disrupt. Amazon does not have physical footprint. They have logistical footprint. So the movement of MediaMarkt, it can be the only, well, not the only, but the main point of difference versus Amazon, right? Yeah. Don't you think?
Yeah. And I was reading also that the logistical arm of Joybuy or JD.com is the one that is growing more. Is growing more than the retail side in China. So that's also something that we have seen in Amazon growth. So Amazon growth engine has been more behind the scenes. So the AWS arm, or rather the logistics. So they built a network that is so big that then they offer logistics for other platforms. I see, especially if the deal with MediaMarkt and Saturn closes, then definitely this network in Europe, it's so massive that has a potential to be used for many other different purposes, and not only for a pure e-commerce 1P marketplace.
I'll put one extra comment on the site, and I park it there. Like 6-7 years ago, it was big rumors that Amazon was going after the buy of one of the biggest of one big European retail chain. Yeah. And it was rumors about Carrefour, it was rumors about Fnac, it was rumors about others, and they didn't. They bought Whole Foods in the US. They started to put their Amazon Go footprint. They are ready with several of these stores or concept stores. So they try their physical footprint. However, the big moment forward, it comes when you buy one established retailer in Europe. And they haven't. Amazon haven't. And now this Chinese player, could be there. So 1,000 stores, super well established. So for viewers that are not from Europe, Media Saturn is the go-to place for electro from my childhood. In Spain.
And not only in these 6 countries where Joybuy is present now, but also in Italy, Spain, so also in Southern Europe. So yeah, they are actually full, covering.
So let's see what happens, because maybe that can also move the market a little bit, and then Amazon puts their eyes back on retail. Let's see. Next point, Luca. So where are them already? Okay, we mentioned 6 countries. Germany being the biggest, UK being the second, France, the Netherlands, Belgium, and Luxembourg. Okay? And within these 6 countries, their delivery promise of same day is reaching 40 million shoppers already.
So basically all of the main urban areas in these 6.
All the main urban, mainly in Germany. And in the UK, they still need to build. And this is mainly in Germany. This is not happening yet that much in France or in Belgium. So that's what we hear, but they keep expanding. Now, are they going to open more markets?
Officially, they haven't announced it yet, but we see, our intel, our network, and few signs we see around tell us clearly that this is going to happen.
Let's say clear. We are not going to reveal our sources, but it is happening. So they are arriving into Italy, they are arriving into Spain, they are strengthening France, they are going to move to the East too. So they are going to be all over.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Clearly, all of the countries where MediaMarkt and Saturn are well established. So there's many more smaller countries that, besides the Italy and Spain, that we love because we come.
But we see a lot of movements also in their hiring. So if you go online and then you check for job offers, they are offering jobs in Italy and Spain. So
that's
our official source. Or unofficial sources we cannot disclose.
But one thing is official is that they leased a huge fulfillment center in Belgium. There's a clear move towards expansion. So if from
towards the south, because you don't need a massive fulfillment center in Belgium if you want to serve only Belgium, no?
Just for Belgium, exactly. That is pretty clear.
And by the way, this logistical center is very close to the second biggest port of Europe, that is Antwerp.
Yeah.
So and Antwerp and Rotterdam are the biggest ports where goods are arriving into Europe. So they want to be there, and from there they are going to redistribute to the rest of the logistical centers, the same that Amazon is doing. And Amazon have a similar footprint nearby the big ports, and then they redistribute all across countries. Okay. And the next question is, and we said that they have been already here for a few months, since the beginning of the year. in these 6 countries. How is it going for them? So what we know so far is big brands jumping. So the welcoming of big brands has been very warm. And the reasons we can explain to our audience. Big brands are becoming more and more dependent on Amazon, on their e-commerce sales, but also in their overall sales. Depends on the category. If you are selling in the electro category, Amazon is your biggest player and starting to be by far from the second. That could be MediaSaturn. So
yeah, because Europe doesn't have a Walmart that can compete with Amazon like horizontally. So I mean, I would say many brands were more and more getting dependent from Amazon in Europe. So that's a massive news for all of the brands.
And that's why for Amazon, they have massive leverage on negotiations if they are the biggest customer for many brands. However, if a second big contender is arriving, then probably the leverage of Amazon, and particularly for these brands, they will not need to put that much money onto the table for Amazon to get and keep bringing growth for them. No? So that's very interesting. So big welcoming, warm welcoming from all the big brands. Okay, and you can imagine them. I mean, you can already go to Joybuy.com and then you see the brands that are there.
Check what brands are there, yeah.
And you see. But we also know, our intel is telling us that they have already done big gatherings throughout the last 12 months, big gatherings with top management of top companies to present their model and to welcome them into the platform. So their investment into the European market and into politics and relationship with these big companies has been massive, okay? They are hiring in the south of Europe. They are building up their warehouse footprint. So, yeah, all the intel is telling us, yeah, they are serious, okay? Few nuggets of what they did so far this first 6 months. So, they built the summer Black Friday.
Yeah.
Okay, another promo time. So we need to put now a big calendar to be able to fill all the promotional big events of all the marketplaces, right? Summer Black Friday.
It was a clear way, being the Chinese Amazon, there was a clear way to play against Amazon Prime Day. So, yeah.
Because it was from the 15th to the 13th of June.
Yeah.
Exactly similar dates than Amazon Prime Day. Then the other bit, so they are not disclosing, I mean, they disclose sales, but only growth on that period versus previous period. The previous period was none, so I mean, massive growth. So it's inconclusive yet. However, one good insight that we found is that in Trustpilot, they are receiving very good reviews from shoppers. So much better than the average of Temu, Shein, and Amazon.
And so, at the end of the day, that's the only thing that counts, because what we are talking about is about the potential, the what is Joybuy having behind the scenes and how we will be potentially able to compete with Amazon. But at the end of the day, is the shoppers that decides. And if the first feedbacks from shoppers are so good, this means these guys are doing it in the right way. And they have on their shoulders first failed attempt, as you said earlier, and I guess we will be commenting this even deeper. So clearly, they built on a failure a few years backward on a model that was maybe too, unique and too particular too peculiar for the European shoppers. But right now, they just brought in the same model that is working extremely well for Amazon with few, and
don't forget, it's working extremely well for JD.com in China. So they bring all the knowledge. What we are also hearing is that big chunk of the people that has arrived into Europe to settle this down are Chinese.
Yeah, of course.
So they have put their masterminds to come to Europe. Of course, I mean, they are hiring in Europe. We must say that. I mean, they are hiring big talent in Europe with big salaries. So, I mean, they are really betting on European talent, but they brought their Chinese expertise on JD.com. So, and big brands, I mean, the brands that have a global footprint, they know how JD.com works in China, and they are already connected, heavily connected, top management level with JD.com in China. And they also look forward for their arrival because they work very well with JD.com in China. So this expertise is coming also. So maybe there are new ways, like TikTok Shop really introduced the live shopping and the social e-commerce into Europe heavily. Maybe JD.com is bringing several other features to our e-commerce ecosystem. So let's wait for that. We'll keep investigating. We will find out, and we'll bring this news to our audience.
Yeah.
I have a last question, last topic that is probably the hottest, some of the hottest news. That is their bid over Media Saturn, the owner of Media Saturn, that they did around end of spring this year, and this is now under investigation through the European Union, European Commission, and it is expected to have a final answer, if that's possible, the buy is possible, by the 3rd of October.
Okay.
So in a month, in a few days, in 45 days from now, it is going to be decided. What do we know about this, Luca?
Well, so the initial public offer is from last year, for 2025, and formally they have the deal already for almost 85% of the shares of MediaMarkt and Media Saturn, so Ceconomy. I think the hottest news of this week was that this deal so far is being investigated by the European Union. What the European Union is suspecting is the fact that the funds that JD.com has to finalize the acquisition of MediaMarkt and Media Saturn comes directly from the Chinese government. So the fact that there is the Chinese government behind this deal. What has been released lately, I think it was just like last week, is that China Ministry of Justice issued an official announcement asking all of the Chinese institutions to not to implement or assist in the implementation of such improper extraterritorial jurisdiction measures. So this, business deal feels like this is moving to a different step.
Political, right?
Political step, right?
Yeah. So yes, and we do not know what will happen. So there is a Chinese big company, maybe backed by the government. That's what the European Commission is investigating. And there are massive investment possibilities for Europe. And then there is the US on all their politics putting pressure into Europe. So let's see what happens here. But I believe the final decision will be heavily politically influenced, unfortunately, for people that like businesses. And we would love this company to settle in Europe at a much stronger pace than what they are doing now. So I hope it goes through. If it goes through, that's massive disruption for the e-commerce landscape and for the all retail landscape in Europe.
It will be extremely fun for all of us too.
And that's fun, and we love fun, right? And we love these moments.
Yeah.
And just for the record, I'm going to say that again. So Media Saturn is present in most of the European countries. It has more than 1,000 stores. All of them are electro stores, okay? Through MediaMarkt or Saturn. I mean, they have the two names. They're in 11 countries and they have 50,000 employees, okay? So what could be the impact for Media Saturn, so for their employees, for their business, if Joybuy is joining them? What do you think is going to be the impact for them as a company?
Well, I think clearly JD.com wants to buy this network to keep it. So for sure, as every time there's an acquisition between big players, there will be some efficiencies. But I think the opportunity is massive from the category standpoint. So MediaMarkt and Saturn are chains that are heavily focused on electronics only, while Joybuy has a clear mission of being the Amazon competitor. So as such, it's already selling grocery, beauty, and many other categories. Now, what will be the development of the physical store is hard to predict. But if I were a MediaMarkt or Saturn employee, I wouldn't be that worried. So there's other acquisitions that would worry me most. But in this case, this player is coming with a serious strategic plan of growth in Europe. Maybe some of the stores
needs this kind of retailer. So this retailer is bringing a lot of the things they miss on the table right now, like so a big logistical footprint, relationships and contracts with all the big brands, because Media Saturn is one of the biggest players for many electro brands, like the biggest you may think, even Apple, Brown, Philips, etc., Samsung. So they already have super good contracts with these brands that Joybuy will need to start from scratch. They also have the footprint. They have the employees. The stores can be distribution centers, so they can go to a hybrid model of last mile pickup in the store, I deliver it to you. So the delivery promise can even get strengthened. They have a footprint in countries where they do not yet, like Southern Europe part, like Spain and Italy, also in the east of Europe. So it's complementing. So it's a plus for them. I mean, it also comes with all the heavy burden of the real estate and the employees. I mean, I understand it has pros and cons, but I believe for Media Saturn, it can only be a booster. I believe they will boost their business. They will find this massive new distribution channel that is Joybuy, massive investment coming from China. So I could see more positives than negatives for them.
Yeah, same here. And it's definitely something breakthrough. We will be observing a new Chinese giant taking his first steps into Europe, and I mean, only future will tell what's next. But I'm more excited than worried. So just to wrap up, Luca. So I know Joybuy is very hot to many people, to many of our viewers. I would love to put the opportunity for people to ask us, put questions there. So we do know already a lot of stuff. Either we will investigate or we have contacts in Joybuy that can help us with the most difficult questions that you may ask. So please participate, ask, and we will promise we will answer. Yep.
Okay, cool. And if you want us to go through any topic related with Joybuy, any particular area like pricing, like categories they play better, like shopper's path to purchases, I don't know, just also put that there, put the suggestion there, and we will develop with further content. Good?
Yep.
See you next week.
Thanks
Ciao.
a lot, Pablo. Bye.